Welcome to a new Digital Diamond Baseball video for version 4. In this video we're going to show you some of the things that are new in version 4. Let's start with the Home Plate tab, which is the tab that greets you when you run the game. This tab is kind of a one-stop shopping for all of the things that are going on in your current library. You can look at league standings, recent highlights, upcoming games, and so on. Okay, the next feature I'm going to show you is the new Generate Players feature. This feature allows you to create a whole bunch of players from various libraries that you have locally installed on your machine. You can pick what libraries you want to choose to pull your players from. You can also decide what distribution you want your players to be, how many starters, how many relievers, how many left fielders, and so on. And various options like the minimum games, minimum game starts, or even the age, the maximum age to choose. In addition, you can also use random names, which is really cool. This will either pull the actual players from those libraries, or it'll pull players similar statistics as the actual players, but rename them. This lets you create a whole collection of fictional players in your library. The next new feature I'm going to show you is the Group Players feature, which can be found in any of the statistical tables in the game. Sometimes there's one player in the library who played on multiple teams and therefore has more than one player record. In the old system, it would just list them right next to each other as two separate players, which it still does, but now you can choose to group those players underneath a single record, and you can then view them either as the combined statistics or as the individual player records. This is a great way really to organize those players into one or many records. Okay, now it's time to show off the new draft features. There's some really neat stuff in this draft that make it a lot more fun to work with. To start, when you first open the draft is saved for you. So your previous work will still be there. This allows you to complete the draft over several days rather than all in one sitting. In addition, we've added this new concept of draft strategies. Essentially, the way this works is you can assign a batter and pitcher draft strategy to a particular team, and the computer manager, if they're drafting for that team, will follow that strategy. Computer manager still uses draft rating as its primary strategy, but within that, it will try to choose players that meet the other strategy. For example, batters with power or play good defense, or a pitcher that has great control or gives up few earned runs. This really allows you to customize how the computer manager picks, and you can have teams that kind of specialize in these sub-strategies. In addition, we've allowed you to specify how many players you want at each position as a percentage of the total size of the roster. So there's really a lot of flexibility here. Once the draft starts, you can also start to change these things as the draft progresses. When you make a change to a strategy, you can specify whether you want it to be for this round or for all future rounds. You can do the same thing by changing the current manager. Finally, you can skip the current pick if you like. And on the top, it shows you what the percentages are for each position for this particular draft. Something else we're really excited about is the new backup feature. In version 4, when you back up a library, you get to choose what's included in that library. And we've added all of the customization pieces to that backup. For example, you can include the ballpark images you've added, the player images, the logos, any play-by-play property files, and even your custom sounds. By including all this in a single backup, when that backup is restored, all of those pieces are restored with it. This makes it incredibly easy to share your libraries with other people, not just the players, but all of the goodies that go along with that. We've also added a backup tag that allows you to label the backup with some text, which makes it easier to remember what it is that's in that backup or when the backup was made. We've also done some neat work with the play-by-play. Specifically, we've made it possible to specify your play-by-play file in the game's options. First, you can specify a play-by-play file for the given library. That means each library can be using a different play-by-play file. Just drop the play-by-play file into the play-by-play folder in your Digital Diamond Baseball installation directory, and then go to the General Options, Other, and specify that play-by-play file for your library. We went one step further, though, and made it possible to specify a play-by-play file per team. As a result, you can have different play-by-play files for different teams. We've also changed our statistical tables to have headers that can group columns underneath them. And then we moved all of our ratings into a separate tab for both batters and pitchers. This allows you to view the ratings in a nice organized fashion. Speaking of ratings, we've also added a whole bunch of new extended ratings for players, and we'll look at that next. The new extended ratings feature in Digital Diamond Baseball allows you to assign bunt ratings, lead ratings, range ratings, outfield and catcher arm ratings, and pitcher hold ratings to all the players in your library. Because these ratings can be a bit subjective, we set their defaults to be average so that they have no effect on gameplay unless you go in and customize them. You can customize these by hand, or you can import them from a file that you've created on your own. One of the nice things about this feature is you can disable any customized ratings in the library or enable them. This allows you to use them or not use them if they exist in the library without having to remove them. All ratings can take a value from 1 to 5, with 1 being the best, 5 being poor, and 3 being average. Many of the libraries that are available for download from our site contain customized ratings for all the players. And we've done our best to make these add a lot of excitement and strategy to the game without taking away the accuracy of its statistics. With the addition of these ratings, we had to change the play ball field so that you could get an indication of the players' ratings while you're playing the game. As you can see here, we've got the players on the field, but now they contain more numbers after their names. You can see they've got air rating, range rating, arm rating, and hold ratings to the right of their name in parentheses. We've also added a new Notes tab to the game, which allows you to enter notes about a library so that others can learn about the players and teams that you've included in the library, as well as the criteria you've used to select those players and teams. We've also taken sound to the next level in this game. You can now specify your own custom sound files for different events in the game. We didn't neglect fast play in this release. We're always trying to make it quicker, and this time we decided to take advantage of all the cores that exist on the machines that are being created these days. These cores allow your computer to do multiple things at the same time, as long as the program is written to take advantage of them. Fast Play now does this, allowing you to play up to 12 games in parallel at the same time. If you've got a newer machine with multiple cores, you'll see your fast play times cut in half or even better, thanks to this new feature. The default library also got a major upgrade in this release, thanks to one of our customers who's created a library full of 48, that's right, 48 of the greatest teams of all time. There's very extensive notes in this library as well that explain the criteria for choosing the teams, and a lovely little description about each team and their history. I think that you'll enjoy this default library much better than the ones we've had in the past. The last feature I want to call out in this What's New video is our new career mode. We had a career mode in version 3, but the one in version 4 is much more sophisticated. The reason is we've licensed with permission a new projection system called MIPS. MIPS takes the player's current statistics from the current season and projects what they will be in the following season after the player's been aged. The neat thing about this is that your managerial decisions during the season, basically how you play your players, how often you play your players, what position you play them at, who they face, and so on, will play a role in how they age the following year. So not only are you concerned about winning, but you're also concerned about developing your players. We've also added some great career reports to go with this feature so you can follow your player's career over time. There's a lot more to say about this, and we'll have a separate video about it, but I think you'll enjoy it. Well, that wraps up our What's New in version 4 video. Be sure to check our website for other videos about this version, and enjoy the game.